Hey, it's your Pan African World Diaspora Champion, Trish Adora, and you are watching O Face Wrestling.
Hey guys, it's your girl Red Velvet, and you are watching O Face Wrestling.
Hola todos, soy la fashionista Roche Chanel, and you're watching O Face Wrestling. Smooches!
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today I am joined by Missa Kate. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited to have you on the show and to learn, a little bit about you and your character, your history, your future goals, stuff like that. So let's get started with these questions. So Missa Kate, first question, what inspired your character and your name?
So we'll start with the name. So my real name's Melissa, but Missa is actually my nickname that just like my family called me. And then Kate came from my middle name, which is Kathleen. So yeah, and my aunt used to always call me Missa Kate. And just like one day I was just like, obviously you got to think of like a ring name or whatever. And I was just, when I was debuting, I was just like, Missa Kate. I was like, that's it. That's how we're going. So yeah, so that's kind of how that came about. As far as character, I mean, that's still in the works. I kind of don't have like a set character. I'm just kind of being me as far as like wrestler me, I guess. But definitely a lot of inspiration comes from Lita. Of course, Lita and Cena are my top two. So I think you'll see a lot of influences of that mixed with some Jeff Hardy, maybe some China stuff. But yeah, around that realm. That's those main people, I guess, are the main influences.
Yeah, I mean, Lita, she was one of my favorites growing up. I mean, because back in the late 90s, women's wrestling wasn't really a big thing, but she was still one of the one of the women who really, like, got your attention. She was different. She wasn't your model, like, I'm out here to be sexy. She's out there to kick butt and, just be a punk rocker or whatever you want to say she
She's like,
was.
I'm hot, but I'm still here to kick ass, sort of like, you know what I mean? Where she's like, oh, I don't have to flaunt it, sort of. Yeah. But yeah, just her being a tomboy and whatnot, like that's like how you just said, she was different than the other girls. She wasn't the blonde, like I don't say blonde bimbo, but that's how a lot of characters are portrayed. So she was like the fiery redhead that like got in there with the guys and like wasn't scared of anything, pretty much. So yeah, that obviously that me being a tomboy growing up and not being on the girlier side, I gravitated towards her. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like if you can succeed in WWE and not, be blonde, that really shows a lot because that's what, traditionally they like. They like the people they put out on the red carpet, the posters and stuff like that. But yeah, she was, just something else. Same thing with China because you mentioned her as well. She wasn't blonde as well. She was different. She was, the muscular, strong, female. My dad actually had like a big crush on her back when we used to watch wrestling together. So I remember her from that.
I'm finding out now like a lot of crushes on her, and I had no idea. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was a kid, so I obviously was like, ew, cuties kind of thing. But like, yeah, my dad always like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And
No, yeah. She like because of her like, and that's what gravitated me towards her because I'm like, I was always because I was the tomboy, but I got into like sports and stuff young, and I had older guy cousins growing up, so like being like the strong chick was kind of like me growing up, so that's why she influenced me as well because she was like still feminine, but she was still like a brute. So
And like a side note about that too is like she was at an independent wrestling event that I was at just a few months before she had passed away, and she was like they announced her being there like last second. It was like literally that day. So and I was really tight on money, so I didn't bring enough money to like go to her table and buy like an 8x10 and stuff like that. And I really wish like I would have just like found somebody because who would have known, a few months later. So that was really tragic
yeah.
and all. But she did come out, during the event and cut a promo in the ring, so that was really cool. I still got some pictures on Facebook from this. I thought that was pretty cool that I got to see her, especially her being one of the childhood favorites and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, at least you got to have that experience. That's awesome.
Exactly. So now I want to go a little bit, back a little, because usually my first question is what inspired you to become a professional wrestler. But if I get really excited to learn about the character, sometimes I throw that question there first. So now let's start from the beginning. So what inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
Um, Kind of just like what I Lita. I mean, just seeing her, like, that was like it for me, because the first match that I saw her in was um it wasn't even, she was managing Edge at the time. It was Edge and Matt Hardy for a ladder match, and the loser lost, or the winner wins the contract to stay on Raw, and the loser got, nobody knew what happened to him, but Matt ended up going on SmackDown. But yeah, just like watching that, and like that was I always say that's my second first match that I've seen. But yeah, that, like, seeing that and like watching her get in there, like the ladders and all that stuff, and not really caring, and I was just like, oh, she's like so cool. She's just like, yeah, we're doing this thing. I want to do it too. I want to be a part of it. So yeah, I was just like, I'm hooked. I'm like, that's my girl from this point on.
See, I remember growing up being like terrified of the idea of being a professional wrestler because I thought like everything was legit real. Like I thought Undertaker was the meanest,
Yeah.
guy on the planet. I thought he was really who he was, the character wise. That's how real I thought it was as a kid. So I was like, oh hell no! Like I'm not going in there and getting buried, buried alive by Undertaker and get set on
Yeah.
fire by this person. It was really intense. Growing up in like the Attitude Era and stuff like that. If I kind of wish I would have, at a younger age actually like gotten into like, at least trying the train and stuff like that, because MCW was like 45 minutes from me and they trained. So I really wish I would have had that opportunity. But yeah, like a lot of inspiration does come from you just like watching it and being a fan, kind of wanting to be like your heroes. And also I think that's really cool. And I have to ask too, because I noticed you have a nickname, Chicago Sweetheart. So where did that come from?
I just blurted it out. No, I had somebody ask me, like, I think it was for my first match too, and you have like the announcer, whoever's announcing you to go out there, oh, what's your moniker? And I was just like, Chicago Sweetheart. I always wanted something to be like Chicago interpreted, and Sweetheart just kind of came from, like, I know me, and I'm like sarcastic, so I like the contrast of saying sweetheart and me still being a sarcastic asshole in a sense. So yeah, so I was always like, as long as it's Chicago related, I'm good. But that was definitely like one of the ideas that, because growing up, we all like have our little scrapbooks. Oh, I'm gonna be this character, and I'm gonna be this person. And once I got closer to my debut date, I was like trying to test out different monikers, and that was one that was on there. And I guess that's the one that I blurted. That's the first one that came to mind. So I was like, there you go.
I like it. It's really catchy, and it's something that can go kind of both ways between a face and a heel. Because you think of like a sweetheart as a nice person, but then you could use it in like a sassy way too. So I think that's a really cool name. And speaking of like Chicago and all, I don't know if you're like a big sports fan, but my dad's a big Chicago Bears fan. So we actually went to Chicago back in like 2003 or something like that to watch one of their football games. So and I thought it was really fun. Like the city of Chicago. What's up?
You remember who you played?
It was Minnesota.
Oh, it was in Minnesota. Oh, duh. Hello.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
go ahead.
it was in the game was in Chicago, but they were playing the Minnesota Vikings. I'm a big Minnesota Viking fan, and my dad's a Chicago fan. So the only way we could actually watch a Bear or Viking game is to go down there. But yeah, we did go to Minnesota once too and watch the Bears play them there. But yeah, the city of Chicago is beautiful. Like I really liked it. It was fun. I told him I wanted to make it like a yearly thing, but that never happened. That was the only time we went. But it's a nice city down there. Good food as well.
Oh my God, yeah. That's why I'm so obsessed with food all the time. I'm like surrounded by it. And anytime I go anywhere else, like if I've been to, I was just talking about this too. There's no pizza like Chicago pizza. I don't care what anybody says. Um, I remember going to Boston, and they had like a New York style pizza or whatever. I was just like, dude, am I eating like cardboard and like tomato paste? Like I was just like, oh, what is this? But yeah, like Chicago's freaking. Obviously, people from New York are probably gonna be like, no, that's not true. But no, Chicago's amazing. Like I always say, like Chicago's the best city. I mean, like yeah, we have our faults. Every city has their faults. But yeah, I mean it's just there's well, once it's open, there's never something not to do. Like even in the winter, I know it sounds crazy, but you have people that are running on the lake or just to have the nice view as they're running or there's I don't know, there's so many things to do down here. But yeah, it's fun. It's an awesome city. You're never gonna be bored.
Yeah, I know. It seemed like there was a lot to do. We were only down there for like just like 2 nights, so we could only do so much. But yeah, it's a city I would definitely like to revisit. I don't remember having their pizza. I don't think I did. I remember like when I went to New York a year ago, it was like a big deal for me to try their pizza, which was good, but it wasn't the kind of pizza I wanted. I wanted to get it from like the street, not like going
Yeah.
into like an actual restaurant. But yeah, like their pizza was great. And now that you talk about Chicago's pizza, I was like, I really want to try that now. Just to see if it is as good as you say it is.
Oh yeah, you gotta go to Giordano's when you come here. That's like the main, or not the main, but it's one of like the main pizza places over here. So,
Okay, so I'll make sure I remember that. Next time I go to Chicago, I'll rewatch this video just to remember the pizza place, and I will try it out. And if I don't like it, I'm gonna be very mad at you.
if you don't like it, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't think I've ever had pizza that I didn't like, because I'm not a picky person in general. But like,
Yeah.
I'll get like the $2.50 whole pizza at Aldi's,
Yeah.
and I'm fine with it. Like,
Yeah.
pizza's
No,
pizza.
exactly. I'm the same way. No, I like frozen pizza too. It's just I never thought I would have bad pizza because I'm like it's pizza. How can you mess that up? Until I went to the East Coast and I was like, oh, that's how you can mess it up. So
Yeah, Boston. If any place would have bad pizza, it would be Boston. I do not like, their sports fans because they're Red Sox
yeah.
fans. I'm a Yankee fan,
Um,
so
oh, okay. My stepdad's from Boston, so I'm like part Boston sports fan. So Red Sox, Patriots, all that stuff. Were you
oh
mad
man.
that Brady won then? Because since you're a Yankee fan,
Honestly,
you're
I
like New
do
York fan or
not.
Boston fan.
It's the Red Sox that I don't like. The Patriots, I've never had an
Oh,
issue with. I did not like Belichick. I will say that. I do not like him, but I've always loved Brady, and I was so happy when he won the Super Bowl for the seventh time. Like, he's the GOAT, and I love and respect him regardless of any kind of hate he gets.
did you see the video of him like trying to throw the Lombardi Trophy from boat to boat? Well, he didn't try. He did it, but.
No, I did not. I heard he did something recently that people aren't really happy about.
Yeah, well, because I don't know if you're familiar, but like Brady's pretty like, again, we don't know him personally. We only hear of what we're told of him. But supposedly he's not like a big drinker or anything like that. And he just got trashed because it's like his seventh Super Bowl ring. And that was like his goal and dream, I guess, to get 7 rings. And yeah, he was just, there's 2 videos. There's one of him throwing the Lombardi trophy to the boat behind him to his, I'm hoping wide receivers, because if they were linebackers, I would not be trusting that. But they caught it. They caught it. Everything was fine. And then the second video was of pretty much a security guard, like not picking him up, but like carrying him by one arm, and like Brady's all like, ah. But he has like a giant smile on his face and stuff, which is that's nice. But I was just like, maybe a little too many shots there, Brady. Dial it back, Tom.
Exactly, like, and he's the last person I would picture getting drunk. I know he's like a super like health freak and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And
yeah,
Tom Brady getting drunk. I mean, wow.
right.
It wouldn't have been too surprising if he was retiring, but I know he wants to go a few more years. So it's like he's kind of breaking his little diet thing there. But yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's gonna
deserves
get
it
10
though.
rings. I'm saying it right now. He's gonna get 10 rings, and then he'll retire.
I want him to get 10 rings. Like that's 3 more years. I know he said he originally wanted to play till he was 45, and now he's apparently considering playing past that, which is just mind blowing. Like no one has ever even been a starter at the age of 43. So like what he did is just like crazy.
Yeah, dope, like you said.
Yeah. So now my next question. So I guess since we were talking about football, we might as well kind of stick around this. So what's a non-wrestling related thing about yourself that you're proud of? It could be like a hobby, an interest, or something that you've accomplished in your life. Like anything you would want to share to the fans.
Um, I'm artsy. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm like a good artist, but I like being artsy. If you creep way back on my Instagram, I painted this little Chicago picture, of course, of it's like the bear symbol with like Chicago Cubs and like Blackhawks and stuff. Like I just they have the T-shirts where they merge all the teams together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I painted. But I like doing that stuff on the side, like crap or like anything, like creative. I like being, which is why I'm in wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like anything creative, I always have fun with. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like I could never like as much as I try to draw and stuff like that, I could never just like be good at it. Like I was always horrible. Like I had these weird little doodles that I used to do when I was younger, and that was about it. Like I could not for the life of me do it. I just don't have the concentration. I don't know what it is, like what kind of skill you need to be good at drawing, but I just never could, do any of that.
Yeah, there's this girl Jen that I train with. Hey Jen, if you watch this. She's a tattoo artist here in Chicago. She's so good, and I'm just like how you were just saying, like how do people have the patience and stuff. Like for me to like sit down and get like artsy, I know it's not a tattoo, but I'm like I have to be like in the mood because otherwise, if you tell me just to go draw, I'm just kind of like I don't want to right now. But that's when the magic happens is when you actually care, of course. But no, like Jen, she'll like sit and she'll like talk about how she's done tattoos for hours and stuff, and I'm just like, how do you just sit and just like shade like one spot for like an hour? Like I'd be like, you got to find somebody else to finish your tattoo. I need to go eat or something. Like, yeah, but it's insane.
Yeah, especially to be a tattoo artist, like, because you cannot mess up. Like,
Yeah,
that's confidence right there. You need a lot of confidence, to
yeah,
do something like that.
100%. I would never be able to. I'd be too nervous that I'd screw it up.
Yeah, I know. Even if I knew I was good at it, I would still be so scared because that one little mistake that's
Yeah.
permanent.
Right, and that's why I'm like, everyone's like, oh, you don't have tattoos yet? I'm surprised. But I haven't gotten a tattoo yet because one, I'm so indecisive. So I'm like, one second I want this, and the next second I want that. So, but yeah, I'm just like, I don't want to regret something or like have it be screwed up. But I'm like, that's on me permanently. So I'm like, I don't. And then to get it like taken off, I heard it's just as bad as having it put on, and it's a process. I'm like, I have to like really, really want a tattoo. But yeah, I couldn't even imagine trying to draw it. But yeah.
Yeah, like when I was in my like early 20s, I had a friend who was getting like a new tattoo almost every week, and he was doing it primarily just because he thought it was cool to have a whole bunch of tattoos. Like he wasn't really putting much thought to it, and like I don't talk to him anymore, so I kind of wonder if he regrets any of them. But yeah, like I got a few, and they all have some kind of meaning to it. So I figured you really can't regret something if it has some kind of meaning to it. So that's how I look at it. I haven't gotten any in, oh my God, almost 10 years, and I want to get another one, but I'm like, you know what, I really want to make sure that it's something I like because I'm a little older now, and I know that I'm afraid of I won't be able to take the pain because I know the one tattoo I got, it took like 2 hours. I almost fainted. Like I got so warm and stuff like that. It wasn't fun.
See, that's my thing too. I mean, you can tell, like I'm very jittery. So I'm like, I don't think I'd do well in a tattoo chair.
Yeah, it depends where you get it to. Like I got one on my back, and it'll like cause like a nerve pain in other parts. Like I got it like a pain in my elbow when I was getting it in my back. I was like, oh, this is really like uncomfortable. Like it sucks.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm really looking forward to getting mine now.
Sorry about that. I think you'll be fine though. You could take all them bumps in the ring and all. I think you could take a tattoo.
Watch me, and then people think that, and then I'm just like, ah.
Exactly.
Oh, I'd be so sad. I'd be like, make sure this is never filmed. No one ever sees this.
I wanted my girlfriend at the time. I wanted her to film it, but the tattoo artist wouldn't let it. I just wanted to be able to see later, like the needle going and all. But he's really like funny about that kind of stuff, so he didn't let her record.
Oh, I've never heard that. I've never heard anybody be like, no, don't record. Interesting.
Yeah, some people are just weird and they're just funny about certain things, especially like some people just when it comes to like being on camera and all too. I guess I can kind of understand.
Yeah, I was saying I could get that because I'm like, really, I wrestle. I still don't like being on camera. It's the weirdest thing. But yeah, no, I get it. It's, yeah, to each his own. Everyone's different.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So now for my next question, now back to wrestling.
Right.
So what is one thing about wrestling that you wish you would have known when you first started that you now know now?
Ooh, um, I honestly, I don't know because I was such a nerd before I got into wrestling, about wrestling, that I would research like so many interviews, watch endless like matches, and try to like study it and try to take what I would heard from the interview and apply it to whatever I was watching. So like I did my homework before getting into the business. Like obviously once you're in the business, there's certain things that you learn that you wouldn't learn just from like a video. Like obviously there's stuff that's just kept in the business. Um but yeah, for the most part, I mean if anything, maybe all the like there's so much psychology that goes into it. And like I guess we'll go with that. We'll go with like it's called hard cam. I'm sure you've heard hard cam, which means this is the way that you're supposed to perform towards or whatever. Um but yeah, so like learning that technique and trying to always make sure that whatever you're doing is also caught on camera and to make sure that everybody can see it. That's something that I was like very and even now still I'm like learning. It's like difficult because now it's just like there's so many things going on in your head. So yeah, definitely I feel like that would have helped a little bit. Like I had like a rough idea, but I never really applied it until I was in wrestling. Because I was always like, oh, just make sure you work out, just make sure you study and make sure you're somewhat familiar with the moves. I still don't know what half moves are called. It's just horrible.
There's a lot of moves, so I don't blame you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess like yeah, the mixture of psychology and then just working and the cameras and whatnot. So yeah.
Oh yeah, like a lot of people might not even realize, how important it is to, when it comes to the camera angles and stuff like that, how you have to position yourself and how you do different things. But like you mentioned, like you watched a lot of interviews. Obviously, like that's what I do, and I've learned so much from interviewing you all. I've interviewed over 60 different women, and it's just crazy. Like there's so much about the wrestling business that you really wouldn't know just based, and watching, WWE or AEW or whatever. Like you don't really learn much about like what goes on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
that until you actually talk and listen to the experiences. Like I had no idea that there was as many promotions out there, schools. I didn't know that there were shady schools out there. I thought they were all great schools trying to get you to be a great wrestler. Like I've heard the good, the bad,
Yeah.
and it's just, and I'm still learning. Like I feel like every interview I learned something different about the wrestling business, and there's just so much to learn, and it's cool at the end of the day. I hate
Yeah.
hearing that, but it is what it is. That's life.
Yeah, but you can't have bad without, or you can't have good without bad, and vice versa. Yin yang. But no, yeah, it's every place and no matter where you are, there's always gonna, or whatever business that you're involved in, there's always gonna be a bad seed, or there's always gonna be like a or whatever. Just like people, everybody on this planet is not good. So why do you expect that out of everybody that you see? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's still human. Everyone still has their faults. And I don't know, it's just like shocking to me that, I mean, I get it because I was like, obviously I'm a fan first. So like, you're like, oh my God, these people are like, I don't want to say gods because that's not the proper, I don't agree with that. But like, they're just like, oh my God, they're larger than life. And like, you know what I mean? You're looked at as like this huge person. So yeah, it's just like when you realize like they're not, it's kind of like, wait, what? Why? What happened? But you got to remember, like, even though wrestlers, they're still, you see the gimmick and whatnot, there's still a person in there. Like they're showing you what they want to be seen. Who they are in front of you might not be the person that they are backstage, whether it's good or bad. You know what I mean? Like if it's a heel, if it's a bad guy in front of you, chances are they're the nicest person backstage, and then vice versa. Like I'm sure you've heard in interviews and stuff, it's usually the people that are like the most or supposedly the worst or something like that. But I forgot to I think like JBL. I don't know. I'm such a nerd. I'm just like, who said that? But was it, I don't know. It was a commentator. It doesn't matter. Anyway. But yeah, so it's just like you're never gonna really know unless you know that person backstage or outside of wrestling. That's the only way that you're ever truly gonna know a person.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. One thing I will say, like when I first started doing this, the very first, she wasn't a wrestler, she was an in-ring manager. Sophia Lopez from WoW. She portrays a heel character, a heel manager, and I had no idea what I was, what to expect. I didn't know if she was going to be portraying the character on the thing or whatnot. And during the interview and everything, she was like the nicest person in the world. I'm like, wow, like this is cool. And I've had that so many times. I've had so many heels and crazy. And I had a girl who portrays a voodoo queen, and then she's just this really cool geeky gamer, and we talk games and stuff like that. Like it's just like you see everything, and I think it's awesome. Like you said, like you don't know the people behind the stage unless you actually interact with them. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, people are people, good, bad. Or you're not always who you might be on TV.
I like to be a good person.
Exactly. You might be a good person. I think you seem pretty nice.
You can be kind of bitchy. Just don't be being bitchy and hurting people are two different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So kind of like staying on the same lines and stuff like that, like you talked about like, being a fan first, and also you are now a wrestler, and now that you have fans, how does it feel like now that the roles reversed? You are the wrestler who has the fans, and you have people who want to buy your 8x10s and take pictures with you and interact with you on social media. Like, how does that feel?
It's weird. Like in a good way, in the most like positive way possible. But yeah, like I'll even I don't know, it's just I don't know if I get used to it, I feel like that would be a bad thing because I don't know. I just feel like it would be a bad thing. I don't think it would happen though. I'll have times where like I'll just be talking or whatever, and like at a show or whatever, and if somebody be like, oh, so and so wants to take a picture with you outside, and I was like, me? Really? I was like, why? Why? For what? But yeah, it's cool. And then there's this one girl too, that I actually I don't just do these shows for her, but she's the main reason why I do these shows, because her and her dad always go anytime I'm there, and she always like gives me like the biggest hug, and she's like, it's so good to see you. So I'm just like, oh, thank you. Like she gave me like a little perfume bottle. But yeah, it's always like that, and she gave me my first like present, so I was just like, oh, this is cool. But I was just like, I don't know why, but thank you. Yeah, it's definitely interesting because again, it's like how you said, I'm still, even though I'm a wrestler, I'm still a fan. So I'm like, I don't see myself in that light, and especially because I still see like WWE superstars in that light. Like I'm a fan of them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm nowhere near that level. So why are you being so nice to me? But yeah. One day maybe, but yeah.
But I mean, like you'd be surprised. Like there are people who look at independent wrestling just as much as they look at like WWE. Like you're still a wrestler. You're doing the same thing. Just because you're not on USA being watched by millions doesn't really. I don't look at it as like being any lesser than what you see on TV, because they're people too.
Yeah.
They're not, like you just like be surprised. That's the only thing I can say there. They like and do all the same things that we do. So like as a big fan of indies wrestling, as I am, I always get excited to meet you all at the events and stuff like that. And it always feels good. Like I get just as excited as I would be to meet like Sasha Banks or something like that. Like it's still exciting and fun.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, it's cool experience. And I mean, like from like our side too, like meeting fans and stuff, like that's definitely like we appreciate, like, or at least I do, like appreciate it so much, because a lot of people, obviously, like people devote their lives to this, right? So like any like little ounce of like appreciation of that, or like people like recognizing that, means a lot. So it's just a surreal feeling. But kind of tying into I don't know what just made me think of it, tying into the previous question you just asked me, as far as like what's something that people, or what's something that you wanted to know before you became a wrestler to prepare you. They don't prepare you for like, even though I'm still like a fan and stuff, they still don't prepare you to be like, I don't know, it's like on a lower level now. Like I was fortunate enough to like train with Mustafa Ali a couple of times. So I'm like, this dude's in WWE, this is so cool. Which is great, obviously. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh, but he's still a person. So it kind of like dumbs it down and brings you back to reality more, which as a person, I'm like, it helps with like the stress and anxiety of meeting people. But like, from the fan, it's kind of like, oh, like you're, I don't want to say like you're not up here to me because that sounds shitty, but I mean, like you're not on the same pedestal that you were when I was a fan. You know what I mean? Because now I'm a part of it. So you have a different perspective on it. So it takes away some of the fan, but it kind of adds to the fan in different ways, though. That makes sense. Did I just rant? I know I rambled. So
No, you were perfectly fine. Like that is nothing wrong with rambling or whatever you want to call. But yeah, it's you're absolutely right. Like it definitely does, and I think that's so cool that you got to train with Ali. Though he is amazing, and I wish that WWE did a little bit more with him. But I think he's awesome, and he is so exciting in the ring. So exciting.
Yeah.
I love that like thing
smart.
he has
Yeah.
that glows, but yeah, he's great. And I think that's really cool. The one girl I had on my show, she got to train with Becky and Seth, so and she basically said the same thing. They're really cool people. They're normal people too, so
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like probably like so like if I met John Cena or Lita, like I don't know, I'd be scared of the fangirl in me not being the same fangirl anymore. You know what I mean? But I'm like at the same time, I don't know if that would happen because I don't even know if I'd be able to talk to him. I might just pass out. But, yeah, no, wrestling is fun, man. It's interesting. We're I always say that we're the land of, what's it called in the Christmas movie? Like the land of lost toys or something like that.
I thought you were about to say the land of opportunities. I don't think it's the Christmas thing. It's the land of dreams, maybe. I don't know.
You know where all the toys? Oh, okay, I'm just gonna stop. But it's like where like all the toys for Christmas that they're kind of like they're rejects, but like they're all still cool.
I have
We all
to try
come
to
together.
find like it. What you're saying rings a bell, but I can't like think of it
It's not
either.
Rudolph, is it? It's a claymation movie. It might be like Rudolph or something. It
I'm
doesn't
gonna
matter.
look into that.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing what I'm trying to say. I was just like, oh,
Exactly.
it sounds like it's bad. I'm like, no, it's cool because we're not societal norms. We're our own thing, and that's what we want. So.
Exactly. And I wanted to bring up too, like I actually met Lita back in 2018. I was first in her line. She was actually at a horror convention. She was like 30 minutes late to the actual meet and greet, but yeah, I got to meet her. We talked for a few minutes. She was really nice. It was either right before Evolution or right after, I forgot, but she had mentioned that the original plan was for her to actually compete against Becky Lynch, but she said they decided to put Becky in the title picture and so on and so forth. But yeah, she was really nice, and I thought that was a really good experience meeting her.
I hope we have an evolution, but I hope this evolution is better than the last one as far as the production. Because I was like, it was so like dark, and it was just like it seemed very sad. But I mean, maybe that's what they wanted. They wanted to feel like very what's the word? Intimate, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there, but
It was a fun event still, and supposedly the reason why they haven't done it is because Ronda Rousey's not there to draw a big crowd or stuff like that. But I feel like if that's the case, just do it at Full Sail University or something like that. And to me, I feel like they have to do it. I mean, the fans are wanting it, and they got a lot of great wrestlers on that roster, and they got even more now than they did then. So it's like they're loaded, and why not?
I know between you have regular NXT, you have NXT UK, you have SmackDown, you have Raw, and then it gives an opportunity for the girls that just got like signed in NXT to just like, even if it's something small like a Battle Royal or something silly. But I'm like, to me, I'm like having that once a year. I wouldn't say have it like a monthly thing because I feel like that's not fair. But if it's like a once a year thing, I don't want to say it's like a WrestleMania kind of feel because nothing could top WrestleMania feel. but it'll still have its own independent feel where it's something that people look forward to. And especially you have all these, I feel like there's more, you could tell me because you were there, but I feel like there's more guys than girls, and I don't mean that in like a negative way, I mean in a good way, because I'm like, that's awesome that like guys are getting so behind this now. And I'm like, you have no idea how long like we waited for this, and not to be like the popcorn, their intermission, whatever. Luckily I never had to go through that because I probably would have cried a lot. But but yeah, it's just I hope they have another one. Mainly too because I'm like, it's fun to see the matchups. Like I want to see Trish and Alexa Bliss. It's like a dream match.
They were supposed to have that, weren't they? And then I think they changed it to a tag team match.
Yeah, because that's when Alexa got like injured or something like that. So they changed it to a tag, and then she ended up not even doing the match. She just ended up managing. But yeah, that, and then what was the other one I just saw? Melina and Sasha. Oh, I'm like such a Melina fan too. I'm like, you want to talk about heel? Oh my gosh, she is so good at being a female heel. And I feel like she's very underrated.
Yeah, I unfortunately missed her time in WWE because that was kind of the time where I wasn't watching it, but I've seen clips. She was really good. She seemed like she was ahead of her time a little bit, and I'm surprised that she hasn't made an appearance in the Royal Rumble yet. Like everyone keeps talking about her every year, and we still don't see her. I feel like we'll probably get her soon within the next year or two, hopefully. I remember there being a rumor like several months ago that she had signed with WWE. Obviously, that didn't happen, but like her name gets circulated a lot with WWE, so I feel like it's a matter of time before she actually comes back in some kind of capacity.
Yeah, because Victoria, which I was so freaking excited about. So I was just like, yeah, then maybe next year I'll be Melina or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. She's definitely cool. Definitely, like you said, ahead of her time. And I'm like, if she was competing with the women of today, and if she was given the time back then that's allowed today, whole different ballpark.
Exactly. Like there's a lot of women that I wish that were still wrestling or a part of this era. Like AJ Lee, that would have been a lot of dream matches. Gail Kim would have been cool to see in this era. I could just go on, but like, wow, like, and especially with AJ, like she left right before like the Four Horsewomen came up from NXT, so it's like she just missed it.
Yeah.
And she's still maybe like early 30s, so she could easily come back and do full time if she wanted to, no problem.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she's cool.
But you mentioned Evolution. I'm really wanting the Mae Young Classic to come back as well, because that was fun, because me being a big fan of the women's independent pro wrestling, I got to see a lot of the women come and wrestle, and I thought that was cool. A lot of them signed. Like I was a fan of Mia Yim before she came, and Dakota Kai and so on, and I thought that was like really cool getting to see all these women get these opportunities, and I discovered a lot more too. Like Toni Storm, like I discovered her at the Mae Young Classic. Like, wow, she's so great now. Look at her, thriving in NXT. So
that's when I fell in love with Rhea Ripley.
When she had long hair.
I was like, I could tell too. I'm like, well, because I played soccer for a long time, and they mentioned how she played soccer, so like automatically I was like, oh, I like her. But yeah, she just like, I just liked how she like, you could tell she was nervous, but she still like how she carried herself. And you could tell she was totally like, and she'll even admit to it, I think, like she was just being generic babyface. And I'm like, but I'm so happy with like where she is now. I'm like, you are such a badass. I'm like, I loved you then. I'm like, I'm in love with you now. Like, I swear to God, I'm like, she's so cool to me. But yeah, fangirling over here. Don't mind me. But no, yeah, but like someone like her. And because of that, because of the Mae Young Classic, we have the Rhea Ripley of today. So I'm just like, yeah, I definitely hope that they bring that back. I know they have like an actual 205 live now, but they should still, to me, I feel like bring back the 205 tournament, because I'm like, there's so many guys on the indies right now that I feel like deserve that spot, or at least if you don't want to sign them, at least they deserve like some kind of spotlight. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what I loved about both the Mae Young and the 205 Live, that they give those opportunities. And they're like, are you going to capitalize on this? Are you going to make something of this? Is this going to light a fire under your ass sort of situation? So Yeah, hopefully they bring those back. Hopefully the world gets back to normal and all of this will happen.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're waiting for some of the things. But because I know like AEW does it with what was that?
Did they say that they're going to bring it back this? Supposedly they were supposed to bring it back this summer.
I
Mayhem
don't
Plus.
know. I didn't hear about that. I hope they do, but we'll just kind of see. I don't know by this if they're waiting for a crowd or not, because I don't think they'll have a crowd
Yeah.
until, because supposedly things aren't going to get back to normal until like late summer, early fall, from what I heard. So I don't know. When it comes to crowds and arenas, I don't know how that plays and what their
Yeah.
requirements to get that kind of back normal kind of thing. Last I heard for like baseball and football and all, September is the earliest they're gonna have a crowd. So I don't know if wrestling's gonna be different or not.
Well, I'm sure they mean like full crowd because you got to think for the Super Bowl they had like 10,000 or 16,000 people in there or something like that. So WrestleMania is having, I think, like 10,000 people or so because of that. Because Vince, he's like, well, if they're gonna do it, we're gonna do it too.
Exactly. Vince wants that money, and WrestleMania is their biggest cash,
So,
payday. So like, I don't think they're gonna go 2 WrestleManias with nothing. The only thing is, I wonder if they're gonna do like the 2 day thing again, or if they're just gonna do a 1 day event. I kind of hope they do the 2 day thing. I really like that. Instead of just sitting there being burnt out watching 7 hours of wrestling, it kind of divides it a little bit, and I liked it how they did it, and I wouldn't mind if they did that like every year, but with a full stadium and with things back to normal, I don't know.
yeah, I feel like they need to make, like, I like the concept, but I feel like I agree. Like, obviously, I mean, I love wrestling, so wrestling all the time is not going to be a problem for me. But like, WrestleMania being 2 days, if that's going to be the new thing, like WrestleMania is a 2 day event now, that's awesome. But at the same time, I feel like in a sense, it takes away from WrestleMania a little bit because now your anticipation of it is now worn off from the first day, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know
So
what
like,
you. Yeah.
maybe like a baby mania or something. Like, call it like, because they have the NXT takeover like Friday, and then Saturday was like day one, and then Sunday was day two. So baby mania, hashtag baby mania.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do feel like in a sense it kind of made it feel a little less important since they kind of had it in 2 days, but at the same time it gave me like 2 days of something to look forward to. So it kind of 50-50 on that whole
Exactly. That's how I am. I'm like, I like it, but I'm like, I also like the authentic like WrestleMania feel. Like, oh, it's Sunday. Like, it's gonna be this Sunday. Can't wait till
all
Sunday.
these matches, yeah, like I would get all the
Yeah.
food set up and all, but then usually like the last like 2 to 3 hours of the show, I would just be so like kind of on the couch because I always have a few beers and stuff like that. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
and now like I'm not feeling good, but yeah, like it goes both ways. The only thing that kind of sucks is I don't want to go. We can't like go all out both nights with food and drinks and stuff like that, so it kind of has to like once again kind of yeah.
Don't pull a Brady.
Hey, full bread. I'm not gonna be throwing around, my PlayStation 4 or something like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Catch.
Yeah.
I can't believe he did that. Still,
I know, but again, it's Brady, so I'm
he
like,
can do whatever he wants.
that's that spiral. Perfect spiral. You ever see Ted 2?
I know.
You never. Oh, you got to see it. He's in it. He Okay, so for those of you who know or don't know, it's gonna get kind of graphic. Pretty much the concept of the story. Have you seen the first one at least? Do you know?
No.
Come on, man, you're killing me. I'm just kidding. You're fine. Obviously, Ted's about a teddy bear. Get it, Ted, teddy bear. With Mark Wahlberg, who is his owner slash friend person. In the second movie, in the first movie, Ted got married. In the second movie, now him and his wife want to have a kid. Obviously, he's a teddy bear. He can't produce children. Oh, we gotta find like the best sperm out there or whatever. This kid really has to, and who better to go to in Boston than Tom Brady
Oh
himself?
my God.
Like they're like the air conditioning, like the AC dudes or whatever. That we're just coming to check out your whatever. And they break it to get into the house because you open the windows and stuff, obviously because it's hot in there now. And they pretty much are like just standing there with the sheet over, and you just see Brady laying down there, obviously like looking at his penis. And they're just like, wow, it's just like a golden light like streams out. They're just like, oh my god, it's magnificent and stuff like that. They're like, and as they're trying to like argue who's gonna get it in the cup, Brady wakes up. He's like, what are you guys doing in here? Blah blah blah, and scares Mark Wahlberg. I think he runs out, and then Brady goes and take your teddy bear with you. So he picks up Ted and he throws him. Mark catches him outside, and he's like, whoa, perfect spiral. It's so dorky. But yeah, definitely check it out. It's funny. It's definitely funny. I love those movies.
I definitely have to. I love Mark Wahlberg. I haven't seen anything recent from him within recent years. But yeah, he's a great actor. I still never seen the Transformer movies he played in either. I kind of refuse to see it without Shia LaBeouf. But yeah,
Right? That's what I said. I said I feel like Shia LaBeouf, like I know like people. I guess Transformers is like I didn't know how nerdy Transformers were. I didn't know like there was like I think there's like comics and stuff of it or something like that.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know. But so to me I just thought Transformers was the first movie that came out was the Transformers. And I found out like no, and like Shia LaBeouf shouldn't have been playing it, and it didn't. They ruined the story and all this stuff, and I was like, I liked it, and I have a crush on Shia, so it's all good.
Yeah, I was never a fan of Transformers until I actually saw the movie. Like, I never cared for the cartoons or the toys or anything like that. But when I heard a lot of hype about it, I was like, wow, this is really good. And then, of course, you had a crush on Shia LaBeouf. I had a crush on Megan Fox. So, like, that kind of got me into becoming a fan, too. And same thing, like, she left after, like, the second movie. So, it kind of, like, when they didn't have her on the third one, I was like, that kid's is kind of weird.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the same. Yeah, I'm a fan of hers too. I like her a lot. You ever see Jennifer's Body?
Yes, I love that movie.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she did good in that. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of hers too. And same thing, like without them two in it, I'm like, it doesn't have that same feel to me. But like the newer movies, everybody liked, I think. So I'm like, I like Mark Wahlberg, so I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I eventually want to see it one day. I just never think of it as when I do think of it, I'm like busy or something like that. So it's one of those things I'll eventually get to one day down the road.
Yeah. I know I have to have like a laundry list because I'm like otherwise I forget of what movies I have to watch or want to watch or something like that. Right now I'm like trying to catch up on the Marvel movies because I'm trying to understand WandaVision more.
Okay, let's see. I haven't watched a Marvel movie and I don't even know how long. I saw the first Avengers and that was it. I'm a DC guy, so I watch a lot of the DC movies, but I could never really other than like the old Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, like I just couldn't really get into many of the Marvel movies.
Yeah. And so we're in the same boat. Yeah. It's like I found out there's like this whole new world of like comics and stuff like that. And same thing, I was only into it took me a minute to figure out there was a difference between Marvel and DC. I'm just like, they're all comics. Like, why does it matter? But yeah, like I didn't realize, I guess I was a DC fan because I was always a fan of the Joker and like stuff like that. So yeah. So yeah, I like started over there and now I'm in Marvel and I'm catching up. I saw like the end of Marvel and now I'm catching up on the beginning. So
yeah, there was a lot of hype with like end games and all that. Like it piqued my interest and I kind of want to see it. I think I like it too. Like I never hated any of the Marvel movies. It's just something that just never really drew me into actually wanting to actually watch them. Like I grew up I'm a '90s kid, so Batman was popular in the '90s. So that's kind of I've always stuck with Batman. You know that the Batman universe is great.
Oh my god, yeah. I used to watch. I'll even go as far back as, the corny little Batman and Robin TV show that was like on the old networks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember watching that as well. Yeah.
I watched that all the time. That was like my I think they were on like Saturdays and Sundays or something like that. Yeah, I'd watch that. It's always like they punch and it's like kapow. I'm like, it's so dorky. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's Batman's the best. And of course, I love Harley Quinn as well.
Oh my god,
she's the
Marvel
best. Yeah, she deserved her own movie, and I'm glad she finally got it. Like, and Birds of Prey was awesome.
Yeah, she said that she's pretty much pushing for a bunch of Harley movies because she's like, I love her, playing her, and there's so many layers to her. So I know one movie she said she's trying to get going is what was supposed to be the original Suicide, which was supposed to be a Suicide Squad between her and Jared Leto. That she wants to have a movie just based on their relationship, sort of thing. So I'm like, that would be like Joker and Harley. I'm like, that would be so cool to me, because I'm like, I feel like we were teased, and then that was taken away from us for Suicide Squad, and that's what everybody wanted to see. And like, he was in the movie for like 5 minutes. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he wasn't in the Birds of Prey one at all. So I feel like they need a movie so we can see their relationship together and them kind of team up and rob banks or whatever they did together, that kind of stuff.
So many levels to their relationship too. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's so much to go off of for them, and they get like, because I'm Harley nerd as well. So like, I've researched her and her story and whatnot, and just like knowing, like I said, like the stuff that she went through with Joker, and like she got in other relations with other people, and I'm like, that would be cool to watch, So yeah, many layers. Harley fan over here, definitely.
Yeah, definitely me too. I have to send you a picture of some of my Funkos when I'm done recording. But yeah, I recently started collecting her Funkos. So, huh?
Did you get the glow in the dark one? The black light pop?
I've seen that on Amazon. No, the ones I bought were all from the store, but when I was looking on Amazon trying to find other ones, I saw that and I piqued my interest, but it was a little bit more expensive, so I was like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so eventually I want to get it. I want the one where she's like wearing like the pink pajamas.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I get what you mean. That's cool. I don't know. I want all the Harleys. Give me all the Harleys.
yeah, I've seen on TikTok like some people got like a lot. I didn't know they had as many Harley Quinn Funkos as they did, but like some people they got like a good like 20, 30 of them. Like wow, that's crazy.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, I just know because obviously in the like wrestling, a lot of wrestlers are like pop collectors. So like, I'm not one yet. I am trying to fight it. There's so many cool ones. Like I follow like Funko Pop and stuff like that. So I'll see them, and I'm like, and it's funny. Like I'll encourage other people to get them, but I'm like, I'm yet to like get one for myself, sort of thing. But my friend for my birthday, she's cute. She did give me the John Cena Pop, the one that the transparent one, because you can't see.
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness, it's so witty. I love it. It's so cool. And then she got me the Trish Stratus Pop. I'm like,
Ooh.
cool. Yeah, the one where she's like in the white crop top with the pink detailing, whatever. But yeah, and then I'm like, cool. Now you need a Lita Pop. That'll start my obsession. Maybe if they make Lita, I'll definitely start buying pops.
Yeah, that's kind of like for me. I got a Sasha Banks one just because I like getting Sasha Banks stuff, and then I was like, oh, the Naomi one looks cool, and then I was like, okay, I might get just my favorite wrestlers, and then when I went to the store and I saw the Harley Quinns, I was like, what, I'll get this one.
Yeah.
And then I got the other.
Because I know.
Exactly, that's how it happens. I mean, when they first come out, they're not expensive, like $10, maybe $20. So they're reasonably priced. The only thing is that they come out with like special ones. These like Funko collectors go crazy over them, and like it's insane.
I'm aware of the pop game.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Like people, they.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so now for our fun. No, we good. I love when it gets a little off topic. I think it's actually fun.
Okay.
But for my final question, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So if you got hired by WWE, whether it was an actual like 2-3 year contract or if it was just like a one-time thing, if you had a match at WrestleMania and you could have it against anyone on the current roster or a legend, who would it be?
Can I just can it be a multi-man match, or does it have to be a singles?
It can be if you want it to be a triple threat, fatal 4-way, 6-pack challenge, whatever you want.
So my dream match, and like when I say dream, it's like the chances of this happening are slim to none kind of dream match, is a ladder match at WrestleMania, but it has to be at Wrigley Field, which I feel like that would be cool the first time at a baseball field, because it has to be in Chicago, of course. But yeah, it would be Lita in there, be Trish, Melina, and I even want to like throw some guys in there like Cena, Jeff Hardy, Edge, um, but like yeah, and like I don't, yeah, like I feel like that would just be a fun like it makes no sense kind of match, but I'm like I'd be so down for it. But if anything, if I had to pick, obviously it would be like Lita in a ladder match or something like that. But
Right.
yeah,
Then when I said like I think I know who it is, I was expecting Lita. I think
yeah,
it's really cool to no one has ever been like I've had people bring up stipulations, but no one has ever been as specific to name like a
yeah,
location and then no one's ever had multi-man or even added men to the match. So I think that's
yeah,
really interesting that your
yeah.
selection. I think it's pretty cool. But
But
Missa Kate, so this was really fun having you on the show. I mean, we got to talk about literally like so many different things, non-wrestling related. I think that's cool. Sports, Funko
yeah,
Pop, DC, all that. That's really dope. Anyone who's listening, I'm sure they learned a lot about you, and that's what people want to do. They like learning about their favorite wrestlers, new wrestlers, whatever. So this was
hopefully I'll
definitely.
get
So, Missa Kate, did you want to let everyone know where to find you on social media?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Both are Missa Kate 11, which is MISSAKATE. People keep saying Miss Kate. They forget the A. That's okay, but there's an A in there. But Missa Kate 11 on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook, I only have like a fan page because I keep my Facebook personal for my own friends and family outside of the business, which you could find me at Missa Kate. And then yeah, I mean, Twitter and Instagram, the links in the bio, they can take you to additional links of mine, such as like my Patreon, my YouTube channel, which I do a little vlog, which I have one coming out soon. I'm going to be working on it very shortly, actually. It's going to be like a short little vlog, but yeah, and I have a podcast called Agree to Disagree Podcast with my trainer Bryce Benjamin. So, yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. But yeah, definitely I'm most active on Instagram. So reach out, talk. I'm down to talk. But if you have any questions, ask there. Um, I think I got everything. I'm not
All
good at. I'm
right.
not good at the social media stuff.
So I will make sure I will put all the links for everything in the bio below. So make sure you all follow her. Also make sure you sub us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you all for tuning in to O-Face Wrestling, and thank you again, Missa Kate, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you too.
No problem at all. Bye, everyone.
Bye.